All right, welcome back, guys. Thanks so much for checking out this episode. This is a further review of the KURETAKE number 22. And the reason this is dovetailing into last week's episode is as I went to dissolve that painting, that actually, the residue, as you'll see, is what trickled down and became the starting point or the impetus for this video, The Melting Man. It's awesome when you can get a little more mileage out of a painting. So getting 2 paintings out of 1 test run with the KURETAKE was excellent. So here we go. Round 2 with the KURETAKE number 22 brush pen. So as I said, this video started really immediately right after I finished last week's video. And as I was wiping away this painting, I got to the area where I started to spray. And right here I said, hey, you know what? Look at that. Kind of like what's going on there. It left this weird, interesting kind of fractal dissolve. And immediately I just jumped right into horror mode. That fractal was kind of just evoking something zombie flesh, cracked, rotted flesh. So I thought, hey, you know what? Just go with the flow. Just go right into this painting and continue testing out this KURETAKE, and thought it was a nice balance to the kind of cute, fantasy-friendly image of the bull terrier for last week's video. And you know, if you guys are out there and you're horror fans and you want to, you know, dip your toe into the KURETAKE, maybe it's a brush for you. Hopefully, you know, what you're seeing in this video will convince you to pick one up. So I'm just kind of going back into literally the technique I had just learned from experimenting with the bull terrier video, and just kind of applying the brush and giving a little smear with some paper towel. And you know, again, there's no rhyme or reason. I'm just kind of going with the flow, seeing what I see. And you're gonna see here in a second, you know, a prime example of, you know, when you're feeling a painting. And so at this point, I just felt like, oh, I was adding clouds because I had just come off that other painting that was so heavy on atmosphere and clouds. And you know what, for no rhyme or reason, just felt like, you know what, no, I'm going to dissolve this guy. It just felt right. And it had a very cool effect. So I'm just letting it kind of drip in normal speed here. So yeah, sometimes you just feel it. Sometimes you just got to destroy the painting and sort of maybe work it into the final piece. And that's what happened here. And just kind of loved the effect it gave. So that's what I generally mean by feeling out a painting, in case anybody's like, what the hell is this guy talking about? I didn't want to take away too much because it's a really beautiful texture, so just kind of dabbing here and there and trying to leave as much as that of that sort of fractal dissolve from the Windex. And you know, just with a few minutes, maybe, I don't know, what is it, a minute? Dry time, I just jump right back into, you know, brushing right over this sort of underlay here. I got some beautiful mid-tones now to go back in and start adding the eyes and the eye cavities back in once again. It's a lot of fun to produce horror artwork like this. It might be a little controversial. I also think it's very lazy on most artists' parts, because it's very easy. At least I think it's very easy stuff to do. So I think that's part of it, but it is also a lot of fun. You can just kind of make ugly art beautiful, and there's no rhyme or reason to a lot of this stuff. So I don't know, at least I feel like it's lazy. But as much as I love, you know, horror artwork and stuff like that, I really do have a lot of fun producing it. So if any artist out there takes offense to that, I mean, what can I say? If you're honest with yourself, I think most of us know we just kind of like go back to what we know is easy. versus just experimenting and maybe trying something new and going beyond. It can be very difficult if you're into horror to just do a left turn all of a sudden and try to draw something cute, you know, and it's an underdeveloped skill, so of course it's going to be difficult. So I guess that's why I just think the horror artwork is easy, you know, it just makes something kind of grotesque, and if you can apply just a modicum of a little bit of talent to it, it'll look okay. So I don't know which is lazier, this artwork, this horror artwork, or AI horror artwork. It's interesting. Maybe a discussion for another time with another artist on board. I think the thing that's been bugging me a lot lately is there's a lot of just AI generated artwork and horror artwork especially out there. You know, and it's part of this video series is a response to that, to kind of get back to showing, you know, a human creating artwork. Generally I like to work off camera, just create something. So it's been a weird trajectory. So this was a little bit of a response to that, just kind of the AI craze. I just thought, you know what, everything going into like quick reels on Instagram or TikTok, everything's just becoming like short order content. I just felt like this was the right time for me to go back to documenting me creating something by hand, you know. Maybe this turned into more of a commentary on my artwork and less of a review of the Kuretake, but what can I say? It's a great brush, and if you want to see maybe what I have to say more about it, I feel like the first video kind of covers a lot of that. So if you want to check out the Kuretake Part 1 review, where I'm painting Burton, the Bull Terrier legend, maybe check that out if you want more of a Kuretake in-depth review. But that's me rambling, and look at that, I just finished the painting in that amount of time. You know, I kind of want to talk a little bit about the oversized hands and things like that. You know, it's with horror, you can really push boundaries. It doesn't have to make sense. And these kind of like Egon Schiele sort of line work, this sort of frenetic body image. And the idea of this melting man, whatever this guy, is an acid bath. Maybe he's you know what? He's a Los Angeles resident, and he's dealing with the acid rain that just poured down upon him, and he's melting. And there you go. It's beautiful, just like out of Indiana Jones. Look at that. That does it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for checking out both of these episodes. And I hope, you know, if you've been interested in the Kuretake 22, I hope these videos helped you, you know, make up your mind. It is absolutely going to be a tool I use going forward on the whiteboard series. So thanks again so much for watching, and I'll catch you next week. Cheers.